was the 7th night, she continued. It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that when the fishes spoke, and the young lady upset the frying pan with her rod, and went forth by the way she came, and the wall closed up, the wazir cried out, This is a thing not to be hidden from the king. So he went and told him what had happened. Whereupon quoth the king, There is no help for it, but that I see this with mine own eyes. Then he sent for the fisherman, and commanded him to bring 4 other fish like the first, and to take with him 3 men as witnesses. The fisherman at once brought the fish, and the king, after ordering them to give him 400 gold pieces, turned to the wazir and said, Up and fry me the fishes here before me. The minister replying, To hear is to obey, bade bring the frying pan, threw therein the cleansed fish, and set it over the fire. When lo, the wall clave asunder, and out burst a black slave like a huge rock, or a remnant of the tribe, bearing in hand a branch of a green tree, and he cried in loud and terrible tones, O fish, be ye all constant to your antique covenant. Whereupon the fishes lifted their heads from the frying pan and said, Yes, yes, we be true to our vow. And they again recited the couplet, Come back, and so will I. Keep faith, and so will I. But if ye fain forsake, all requite till quits we cry. Then the huge blackamoor approached the frying pan, and upset it with the branch, and went forth by the way he came in. When he vanished from their sight, the king inspected the fish, and finding them all charred black as charcoal, he was utterly bewildered, and said to the wazir, Verily this is a matter wherein in silence cannot be kept, and as for the fishes, assuredly some marvelous adventure connects with them. So he bade bring the fisherman and asked him, saying, Fie on thee, fellow, whence came these fishes? And he answered, From a tarn between 4 heights lying behind this mountain, which is in sight of thy city. Quoth the king, How many days' march? Quoth he, O our lord the Sultan, a walk of half hour. The king wondered, and straightway ordering his men to march and horsemen to mount, led off the fisherman who went before as guide. Privily damning the Ifrit, they fared on till they had climbed the mountain and descended onto a great desert, which they had never seen during all their lives. And the Sultan and his merry men marveled much at the wold set in the midst of 4 mountains, and the tarn and its fishes of 4 colors, red and white, yellow and blue. The king stood fixed to the spot in wonderment, and asked his troops and all present, Hath any one among you ever seen this piece of water before now? And all made answer, O king of the age, never did we set eyes upon it during all our days. They also questioned the oldest inhabitants they met, men well stricken in years, but they replied, Each and every, a lakelet like this we never saw in this place. Thereupon quoth the king, By Allah, I will neither return to my capital, nor sit upon the throne of my forebears till I learn the truth about this tarn and the fish therein. He then ordered his men to dismount, and all around the mountain, which they did, and summoning his wazir, a minister of much experience, of penetrating wit and well versed in affairs, said to him, This in my mind to do a certain thing whereof I will inform thee. My heart telleth me to fare forth alone this night, and root out the mystery of this tarn and its fishes, which led up one of the mountains and marched for the rest of the night till morning dawned. Nor did he cease wayfaring till the heat was too much for him. After his long walk he rested for a while, and then resumed his march and fared on through the second night till dawn, when suddenly there appeared a black point in the far distance. Hereat he rejoiced and said to himself, "Haply someone here shall acquaint me with the mystery of the tarn and its fishes." Presently drawing near the dark object, he found it a palace built of swart stone plated with iron. While one leaf of the gate stood wide open, the other was shut. The king's spirits rose high as he stood before the gate and rapped a light rap, but hearing no answer he knocked a second knock, and a third. Yet there came no sign. Then he knocked his loudest, but still no answer, so he said, "Doubtless 'tis empty." Thereupon he mustered up resolution and boldly walked through the main gate into the great hall, and there cried out loud, "Allah, ye people of the palace, I am a stranger and a wayfarer." He repeated his cry a second time and a third, but still there came no reply. So strengthening his heart and making up his mind, he stalked through into the very middle of the palace and found no man in it. Yet it was furnished with silken stuffs, gold-starred, and the hangings were let down over the doorways. In the midst was a spacious court, off which set 4 open saloons, each with its own raised dais. Saloon facing saloon. A canopy shaded the court, and in the center was a jetting fount with 4 figures of lions made of red gold, spouting from their mouths water clear as pearls and gems. Round about the palace birds were let loose, and over it stretched a net of golden wire, hindering them from flying off. In brief, there was everything but human beings. The king marveled mightily thereat, yet felt he sad at heart, for that he saw no one to give him account of the waste and its tarn, the fishes, the mountains, and the palace itself. Presently, as he sat between the doors in deep thought, behold, there came a voice of lament, as from a heart grief spent, and he heard the voice chanting these verses: "I hid what I endured of him, and yet it came to light, and nightly sleep mine eyelids fled, and changed to sleepless night. O world, O fate, withhold thy hand and cease thy heart and harm. Look and behold my hapless sprite, in color and affright. Wilt ne'er show ruth to high-born youth who lost him on the way of love, and fell from wealth and fame to low his basest wit. Jealous of Zephyr's breath was high on your form he breathed, but when as destiny descends, she blindeth human sight. What shall the hapless archer do, who when he fronts his bow and bends his bow to shoot the shaft, shall find his string untight? When Carcan cares so heavy bear on youth of generous soul, how shall he escape his lot, and where from fate his place of light?" Now when the Sultan heard the mournful voice, he sprang to his feet, and following the sound he found a curtain let down over a chamber door. He raised it and saw behind it a young man sitting upon a couch, about a cubit above the ground, and he fair to the sight, a well-shaped white, with eloquence dyed. His forehead was flower white, his cheek rosy bright, and a mole on his cheek breath like a mind, even as the poet doth indite. A youth slim-waisted, from whose locks and brow the world in blackness and in light is set. Throughout creation's round no fairer show, no rarer sight thine eye hath ever met. A nut-brown mole sits throned upon a cheek of rosiest red beneath an eye of jet. The king rejoiced and saluted him, but he remained sitting, in his caftan of silken stuff, purfled with Egyptian gold, and his crown studded with gems of sorts. But his face was sad with the traces of sorrow. He returned the royal salute in most courteous wise, adding, "O my lord, its fishes, and of this palace and thy loneliness therein, and the cause of thy groaning and wailing. When the young man heard these words, he wept with sore weeping, till his bosom was drenched with tears, and began reciting. Say him who careless sleeps, what while the shaft of fortune flies, how many cloth the shifting world lay low, and raise to rise. Although thine eye be sealed in sleep, sleep not the Almighty's eyes. And who hath found time ever fair, or fate in constant guise? Then he sighed a long fetched sigh, and recited, Confide thy case to him, the Lord who made mankind. Good court and care and cultivate content of mind. Ask not the past, or how, or why it came to pass. All human things by fate and destiny were designed. The king marveled and asked him, What maketh thee weep, O young man? And he answered, How should I not weep when this is my case? Thereupon he put out his hand and raised the skirt of his garment, when lo, the lower half of him appeared stone down to his feet, while he from his navel to the hair of his head he was man. The king, seeing this, his plight grieved with sore grief, and of his compassion cried, Alack, and well away in very sooth, O youth, thou heapest sorrow upon my sorrow. I was minded to ask thee the mystery of the fishes only, whereas now I am concerned to learn thy story as well as theirs. But there is no majesty and there is no might save in Allah, the glorious, the great.